Hi everybody, it's me, Jennifer from Little Metal Foxes. Just wanted to say hello. We've got lots of fun things going on. It may look different because I am at the Baleen studio today, and I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about lighting. Hey Robin! And but we're going to go outside in a little bit. So the puppers here is here with me at the studio, and it's a little after hours for us. But I wanted to say hi, hey Chris, and tell you guys a little bit about some tricks for lighting in the studio and when you're working, because lighting at work can bring on great fatigue and can make you exhausted. So if you don't have enough lights, hey Karen, if you don't have enough lights on your work, it's hard to see what you're doing and see accurately. But it's very fatiguing on the eyes and can cause migraines and eye strain and all kinds of other problems that you want to avoid. The other problem too is if you have a lot of mixed lighting. So different light waves can interact with your brain in a bunch of different ways. And if you've got too many light sources, it can actually stimulate your brain in a weird way and actually cause migraines and exhaustion really quickly, but it's very hard on your brain to process all the different light waves. So if you're working with like natural light and LEDs or natural light and incandescence, you're fine, but the minute you start adding in like fluorescence and LEDs and natural light and incandescence, that mixed bag of light waves can cause migraines really badly. So especially if you've got a computer going on as well, it can really, really be hard on your body, on your brain, and I do not recommend it. So if you're working at your bench and you've got some place that you are comfortable, and really take a look at your light sources. Make sure that you've got good task lights on what you're doing. Julia wanted me to share with you, since she couldn't be here tonight, that you usually want to have a task light in your area that's about 10 times the ambient light. But I would definitely say whatever light source you've got that is giving you a clear enough view of what you can see without straining your eyes, and so harsh a light that you're having to deal with a lot of like squinting and reflections and glare. You don't want that either. So it should be comfortable. It should be evenly lit so that you can work in a way that, again, is comfortable and you can see what you're doing easily. If you have the advantage of having a lot of natural light in the studio, that can be a fantastic source. Don't hurt yourself. Hello, doing that. I have found one of my favorite lights at the studio is an OTT light, OTT. And OTT light is a daylight balanced full spectrum light that is available from places like, you can get it online definitely, but I found them at Joann Fabrics. And for stones and fabrics and being able to see the true color of what you're working with, having a light like that is really important to be able to balance the light so you can see the color properly. So also too, if you want to be able to sort of see the glare, or if there's like fire scale and so on, having a light that's balanced for natural light, that is a relatively cool light and a long-lasting light like that. They're a little more expensive for the bulb, but I have to say it has, that's what I use in my task lights, and it makes a big difference in being able to see the color of stones, being able to see what kind of reflections things have, and just being able to see better in general. So I have those in my task lights. Even if you have a softer, bulb, that's fine. But I would definitely get something that's like an LED long-lasting bulb for two reasons. One, you've got, environmental issues, and the LED bulbs will last a very long time, and you can get them daylight balanced, which really is better for your working situation. I eliminated all the fluorescence in my studio. I had fluorescent overhead lamps and replaced them with LED lamps. And you can get LED work lamps for the studio for like $15 at the hardware store, and like the long work lights. And they actually light better a broader area and a fuller spectrum than the fluorescents do. They don't make that horrible noise and they don't give me headaches, so I like those a lot. The other thing that I would definitely consider is, if you're working with a task light that has a magnifier, the ring light magnifiers can be really helpful, so that you can see evenly at what you're looking at, and you do get a nice rounded light source around the objects that you're working on. So those can be really great for especially if you're doing things like setting stones and you can't quite see what you're doing. You've got a magnifier and a light that's good and even around what you're working on. And you can get those in LED as well, rather than the fluorescent again. So, if you were going to sit at your bench for a long time, again, ergonomics and practicing safely, whatever you're working on is easier on your body, easier on your brain and your eyes. And a lot of jewelers have eye strain and eye problems, and if you can reduce that in the work environment, that's always a good thing. Little task lights, like little swing arm lamps, can be really helpful. The lights with the magnifiers can be really helpful. And we've got, here we actually have LED bulbs in our track lights, which is really nice here at Baleen. And the softer LED lights, or I guess those are incandescents, in the big, these guys. But we do have a lot of daylight here, which is great. And it's, whatever works for you. If you're limited on space and you have a flex shaft, a Fordham flex shaft with, a hanger, you can actually get light bars that attach to the Fordham hanging bar. So those save you some space, provide a good work light, and they are LED lights as well. And the nice thing is that they can kind of swing over where you're working, and they can flip up out of the way. So that's kind of a nice, addition to your flex shaft stand that keeps your bench clear, so that you don't have to have like another thing on your bench or attached to your bench that gets in the way of you working, right? Anyway, anybody have any tips out there? Throw them in the chat, and we'll share that with you. The other thing that I want to say is next week I'm going to be in London visiting our other little metal fox, Helen, and we have all kinds of fun things that we're going to be doing. We're going to be going up to Cardiff and Paris and London and visiting with a whole lot of metalsmiths and jewelers in the area, and getting to see lots of fantastic shops and things that are going on. And so we're going to share as much as we can about the jewelry that we're seeing, historic and contemporary. And so we're pretty excited about all of that. Let's see, I was going to see if I could pull up the classes here so I could share those with you too. But one of the things that we're really looking forward to is next week on Monday, we're going to meet with, I believe, one of the All That Glitters quarter finalist, Lee Appleby, who is in Cardiff, Wales, and hopefully we can get him to share some of his tool tips with us as well. So hopefully that's what we'll be doing next week. So stay tuned for that. And if you haven't seen All That Glitters, it is basically British Bake Off, but with jewelers. I know. And it's on PBS, it's done by BBC, and you can find it on HBO and on YouTube. So if you haven't seen that yet, go watch it because it's awesome. And just like the British Bake Off, they're all very helpful, but they're working on jewelry, and they've got a lot of like the Durston tools and things like that are just awesome. So yeah, All That Glitters, go watch it. Hopefully we'll be meeting with Lee next week. So that's our plan. We're also going to be seeing some of the stuff in London, the museums, and we're going to share that with you too. What else is going on? Julia's going to do a tool tip in the meantime between now and then. And so we've got lots of stuff coming up. Julia's electro etching class, this is our second section. We had a first one that sold out, and we've got lots of people that wanted to take this, and it's coming up this weekend. So if you're interested in doing the electro etching, it's a really simple process. It's very low tech. You can do it in a small studio. I highly recommend it. It's great for doing things like producing your etching plates for roller mill practice. So you can actually etch your brass plates and run them through the rolling mill to produce rolling milled or an etched look on your sterling. So there you go. And it's a really simple process. It does not take a whole lot of stuff. Julia has the kits available, and you can buy them. If you get them today, you would probably get them in time for the class this weekend. If you order them after the class, you can, of course, sit in, watch the class, ask questions, and then you've got 30 days to watch that video as usual. So, electroetching, there's so many great purposes for that, whether you're using it on to decorate a surface that you're working with, or to use it to do something like produce roller mill plates. So get in there, people. There's limited space. Also, kinetic rivets is coming up on the 14th. Knot rings is coming up on the 20th. We've got a new class that we're very excited about with Helen Cowart that is Intro to Glass Clay for jewelers. So if you haven't seen glass clay before, you probably have seen precious metal clay, where you mold the clay and you put it in a kiln and it turns into metal. This is clay that you mold and you put it in the kiln and it turns into glass objects. I know, what? So it is, she's going to be teaching that on August 21st. So that is something that you can use with your jewelry to add pieces and make your own cabochons and sculpt small little objects and creatures and things, and it fuses the glass together and makes these beautiful pieces. So it's almost like Egyptian faience in a way, that you can actually model it and mold it like clay. So seriously, that's going to be an amazing class. I'm fascinated with this process. There's also file work rings coming up, reticulation with a number of different metals, the flex shaft demystified, which is a great in the studio class that, hey, Big Red, hello, nice to see you. So we've got the file work rings is coming up on the August 27th and 28th. That actually is inspired, Big Red, by the knife industry, because a lot of the spines on the knives have beautiful file work, and it is used in jewelry and in knife making. And Julia's going to show you how to lay out your patterns, what files to use to create different kinds of patterns, and how to transfer that to a radiant pattern as well for things like rings. But the patterning, whether you're making your own pattern, making it repeatable, getting your spacing right, and the technical stuff that you need to understand just to get the pattern transferred is really important, and what files work best to do that. So if you're working on knives, this is a great workshop. And if you're working on metal smithing stuff, rings, bracelets, whatever, it's a great way to practice and understand what the files can do. So that's going to be August 27th and 28th. Pass it on. That's going to be a great workshop. Also, again, reticulation is August 27th, and flex shaft demystified is coming up on September 3rd. So if you want to have a tool that you can polish with, file with, grind with, sand with, do all your mechanical things with, the flex shaft is a great tool for that. So we're going to be talking about all the attachments and polishing and all that good stuff. So that takes us into September, and there's a bunch of other classes there. We do have another good artist that is joining us, Leslie Perino, and she's going to be showing us some amazing enameling techniques using embossing folders to emboss the copper and then do some enameling on it. So I highly recommend that for those of you that want to add some color to your work. And so that's it. That's what I've got for you today. So look at your lighting, do an assessment, look at your bench, see what you've got. If you're having problems with headaches, eye strain, exhaustion when you're working, this is one of the prime suspects that can cause all kinds of problems. So find some good work lights, make sure you're lighting it appropriately, not too bright, that you're straining, and look around, make sure you're not mixing too many light sources and those light waves, and kind of stick to either LEDs, natural light, and try and get rid of those fluorescents. If you can do that, it really will wear you down pretty quick, and it's just so hard on your brain and your eyes. So anyway, I will tell you guys to have a great week, And next time I see you all, we will be sharing our information from the great UK. So, yeah, if you have any questions, as always, email us at info@littlemetalfoxes and contact us. Check out the classes that are coming up, and DM us if you have any questions. We're always happy to answer your questions about the classes, about technical stuff, and more. So we've got lots of stuff we just posted, and stick with us. And yeah, we'd love hearing from you guys. And if you're a student that has some work you want to share, please tag us, because we love sharing that information. And we just started doing our new newsletter. Some of you may have already seen that. If you, which usually has an article, tool tips, stuff that's coming up, and more. So if you don't get our newsletter and you would like to get it once a month on right about the first of the month, we will send it out to you. Sign up for that on our website at littlemetalfoxes.com. And as always, all of our tooltips are on YouTube. You can see all 77 of them there, plus all the additional bonus content that we have, that is playing with fire and our guest artist that we interview, and more. So thanks a lot. We'll see you guys later. Have a great rest of your week. Bye.